Hi everyone, it's 9 to 5 Geek here, and today I'm gonna explain you about the untold story for one of the biggest tech companies in America.
Okay, let's go.
And welcome back to the channel where we make money and talk about money. Today we are diving into one of the most powerful money-making machines ever created. A stock index that turned garage startups into trillion-dollar monsters like Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, and etc. And made also early investors ultra rich. This is not just a story about tech stock. This is also a story about Warren Buffett's biggest regret. Who's not believed in Nasdaq, who's not believed in tech companies, never. And he never invested until later. He later also admitted that he didn't choose and he didn't hear Charlie Munger's advice, his right-hand man. Grab your popcorn and let's go, guys, because we are gonna dive into one most biggest tech companies today. What is Nasdaq 100? The Nasdaq 100 is index fund of 100 most biggest tech companies in the entire US. Think of it like an Avenger of technology stocks. You've got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Meta, Tesla, basically the companies that run your phone, your car, your shopping, your entire entertainment, and maybe even your dating life. These companies are innovations machines. And because the Nasdaq 100 is heavily focused on tech, it has historically grown much faster than most other indexes. Let me explain you about its original story. Let's dive in. The Nasdaq Stock Exchange was born in 1971 as the world's first electronic stock market. Stocks were literally traded with paper, phones, and a whole lot of yelling. Imagine that if you don't have those tech companies, you would have invested only with paper. You have to run like hell to invest $100, and now you just click one time and you buy the stock pretty easy. In 1985 they created the Nasdaq 100 index. Back then tech companies weren't seen as the giants of the world. Most of them were tiny startups. Everyone started just from one garage. But the index fund quietly started backing itself with future superstars, which nobody would imagine. If you invested $10,000 in the Nasdaq 100 in 1985, today you would have over $2 million just over staying there. It's not that bad for pressing one button. And then came the dot-com bubble. In 1999, the late 1990s were wild. Everyone believed the internet was the future, which was true. But investors also believed companies like Pets.com, Webvan, and eToys would dominate the world, which was not entirely true. The Nasdaq 100 exploded in value. It went more than 400% between 1995 and 2000. Then the bubble popped because everyone invested and the entire tech sector dropped for 78%. Imagine you lose your 78% of your money. Many people thought tech investing was dead forever, but they forgot one thing: we can only go into the future. Real technology wasn't the bubble, only the hype between people which never understand how investing works. And imagine that, the comeback of Nasdaq. After the crash, the companies with real business models slowly rose from the ashes. Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Nvidia. The Nasdaq 100 became the index of the future. It went from disaster to becoming the best performing major index of the 21st century. Since 2003, the Nasdaq 100 delivered more than 1100% of return, far more than S&P 500. And here comes the legendary part. Warren Buffett and his right hand, Charlie Munger, and their biggest mistakes ever. Warren Buffett, value investing king, spent decades saying he doesn't invest in tech because he doesn't understand it. And Charlie Munger, however, he understood. He saw the future. Charlie repeatedly told Warren, we should buy big into the great tech companies like Apple and Google are no-brainer businesses. They are the future. And he was right. But Warren Buffett never listened. He was one of the stubborn people which Charlie Munger knew back then. And of course, he built multi-billion business empire. Why not? Buffett refused for years. Then the Nasdaq 100 exploded. Tech dominated the world. Apple became the most profitable company in the entire history. It reached a point where Buffett later admitted he made the biggest mistake ever made that he never listened to his right hand, Charlie Munger. In 2017, Buffett said, Charlie was right about Google and Apple. I blew it. I made a mistake. Imagine buying Google when it was $85 at IPO. Imagine buying Apple when it was under $1 split adjusted. Now imagine Warren Buffett himself saying he should have. This is the I should have listened to Charlie's era of. Buffett eventually bought Apple. Not a problem, he bought it. And it became his best investment ever. But Nasdaq 100, he missed decades of explosive returns. The companies that shaped Nasdaq 100. The power of the Nasdaq 100 comes from its giants, like Apple, Microsoft, and I told you before about them. Apple turned a fruit logo into the most successful product ever created. Microsoft went from selling floppy disks to running the cloud that powers half the internet. Amazon started as an online bookstore. Now they deliver everything except a second chance for your ex. Nvidia originally made chips for gamers. Now they are the leaders of AI. Imagine that. Tesla, love him or hate him, Elon Musk forced the entire car industry into an electric era. Imagine that. All these companies together are why the Nasdaq 100 is so dominant over S&P 500. Why the Nasdaq 100 beats most of the indexes over there? Reason why: innovation, growth. The tech industry will be the future, as always. Like always, it will be the future no matter what happens. The future is there. We cannot live without machines. We cannot live without technology. We will be extinguished without it. Reason 2, rebalancing. The weakest companies get removed like instantly. The strongest get weighted more. It's a survival of the fittest. That's why it's one of the best indexes ever created. Reason 3, global domination. These companies operate in every country and every industry. Reason 4, AI revolution. The next 10 years could be even bigger because of AI, robotics, cloud, EVs, and biotech. How to invest in Nasdaq 100? You don't need to buy 100 different stocks. You don't have to buy them all. You can buy only the index fund which follows them. You can simply buy in America, for example, QQQM, Invesco Nasdaq 100, in AO, Nasdaq 100 accumulating ETFs, also AO. These ETFs will give you full exposure, just one click on your fingertip. The final message about Charlie Munger's wisdom. Charlie Munger said many times, the world is always changing. If the world changes, your investment mind must change too. The Nasdaq 100 is the perfect example of this. It represents innovations, disruptions, and the future of the global economy. Even Warren Buffett, the most successful investor ever, admitted he should have listened to Charlie Munger. So whether you invest or not, understand the lesson. Ignoring innovations is expensive. Understanding it early can change your life. So that's the final, guys. I hope you liked the video. I hope you're gonna like this video. Comment and subscribe to 9 to 5 Geek. I'm gonna make future videos, always one video at a time, every week, about every index, every stock, about my personal opinion about them, and etc. Thanks anyway, and bye. Until later.